And Mike Brogan has, I was asking about the intro, and he was saying that the previous discussion that we had was really the ideal intro, because this presentation is about how to expedite your certification. Over to you, Mike.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Conor. Thanks for having me here today just to speak about. What I'm going to speak about is our experiences with our own customers and potential customers in terms of the discussions we've had on implementing ISO 50001 and also the Superior Energy Performance Program in the United States, which is basically ISO 50001 plus additional requirements. NERT is 10 years in business actually this month. So we have a lot of experience. We've been there since the start with IS 393 and acted as agreement support managers back then. But we've also always had a focus on developing software for energy management systems, and developed prototype software even back then, which was too early for most people at that stage. So just moving on. Just in terms of, these are our typical customers, but the main point I want to mention here is that we're talking about like 75% of the customers are typically industry, but there is a lot more traction around the building sector, banks, hospitals, airports, etc. And also typical customers are usually, we say €1 million plus spend to justify the costs of implementing ISO 50001. Just talking about systematic approach versus business as usual. So just a different slant, I suppose, on you've probably all seen the roller coaster graphics for many years now, and I just want to say, like, why ISO 50001? And really, it's first of all, just to say that the standards, the ISO 50001 standards, are a good, strong energy management system. Is both technical and management. Okay, so you have all the aspects there in the purple. So we do get a bit of confusion when people call us and say, do you do metering? And it's an energy management system is more than just measurement and metering. It's the whole program. So, but metering is a very important part. Monitoring and metering, very important part of the system, and it fits in and provides, the data and the monitoring and shows you where you're going and all of that. So that is very important. So that's just to say that a quality metering system is part of your continual improvement program. Just ask I suppose the question again about systematic versus business as usual. I suppose business as usual, we kind of refer to, are you a project-based energy management system, or is it a best practice energy management system? And usually project-based energy management systems, they are achieving savings, so but maybe underachieving, and maybe there's a tendency to focus on short-term projects, and also to focus on maybe one or two projects at a time. Whereas if you're implementing a best practice energy management system, which is ISO 50001, then you are looking at a rigorous business process, and with looking at continual improvement. And a business process was mentioned earlier by Ryan in the very first discussion. So that's just trying to highlight the differences. Just around question for people in terms of what is the biggest barrier to implementing ISO 50001. So we just to be thinking about that, but reasons for going for ISO 50001. You're saying that maybe there's two reasons. Maybe it's basically, first of all, maybe it's cost savings, and I discuss examples later, and also to get certified. But you also have other business drivers maybe for getting certified as well. Competitors are doing it, supply chain requirements, show green credentials, and I'll talk about a case study later. Demonstrate proven best practice in the organisation. So maybe you're a global organisation and you want to show your leadership in terms of energy management for the rest of the organisation. And then things like tax rebates. So Germany is an example there where they're really leading the way in terms of certifications because of the tax rebate. Just in terms of getting started, you know, from our experience of talking to customers, again, we're back to, and this is the same message we've heard, I suppose, all day so far, is build the business case, market to the CEO, the CFO. Most failures, you know, happen around switching of priorities and no focus. So again, it's really getting the management commitment so that you can provide resources to implementing it. Also get integrated, you know, so this is something that just, I suppose, it only started to come up. I suppose, and from Borden Mona is the environmental manager, so I was glad to see that he's part of the driver for the energy management system. And the discussion just before lunch then as well also started to touch on integrating with the other systems, you know. So a lot of companies already have 14,000, they have 9,000, they have internal resources, they have internal knowledge in terms of implementing the management system side. So maybe a lot of energy managers, a lot of people who are engineers like myself, maybe feel a bit isolated in terms of getting the system implemented. So that's just moving on then to talk about, you know, this business case. I can show proven energy savings, and again, it's systematic versus business as usual. And there's lots of, you know, evidence starting to be accumulated out there. Some early evidence, like from organisations such as BSI, energy savings in universities. Deloitte published a report to say like that systematic approach versus business as usual, like you're getting 3 to 4 times more savings. And also Certification Europe, one of our sponsors here today, they've also, you know, stated that their clients are achieving, like, you know, ranges of 6 to 37% savings. In the United States, I suppose this is the most significant evidence to date, and this comes from the Superior Energy Performance Programme, where the companies had to get ISO 50001 certified first, and then there's additional requirements on that. But the research, and this is research I suppose, is results published by Berkeley Labs and the Department of Energy, and you're looking at, you know, savings of 13% for a systematic approach versus, you know, 3 to 4% business as usual. And the payback is also another important point to say, like the payback here is also proven to be 1.7% average across the companies that have taken part so far. So that's good proven research at the moment. There's references, there's links on the slide which you'll probably get later, which you can look up afterwards. Just bringing it closer to home, I suppose, for one of our own customers, University College Cork. They were one of the first university in the world to be certified. They achieved significant savings in the first 6 months alone, in both terms of electricity and natural gas, and they got certified in 4 months. So the certification process, it was one of the first certifications in Ireland, and the first university in the world, and that was quite quick. It also, so I suppose it's both cases there. They're looking at energy savings, but also, you know, adding to their prestige as well, and their goals to be recognised as a green campus. So they have case study in ISO Focus, which is the ISO magazine. Just in terms of then the second point I mentioned about the integration with other management systems, you're looking at how can you integrate with existing systems, you know, whether it's BMS systems or carbon reporting systems or monitoring and targeting systems. You need to be considering that. You're also looking at integrating with the existing management systems such as the 14,000 or the 9,000 or the 18,000 systems that you may already have. And then other integration, you're looking at project management tools, ERP systems for getting good EMPI data, maybe it's production planning data, things like that, so that you've got good performance monitoring and forecasting as well, and even linking to maintenance systems for action tracking as well. So just moving on to the next slide. This is just to illustrate the core components of ISO 50001. The big block in the centre there is the core components, and it's all around, so it's common across the different standards. So again, you have, a lot of you will have in-house expertise in this, and I said to you to make sure that you involve your quality or your environmental, your health and safety teams in the energy team as well. And then you've got some unique aspects around the ISO 50001 that needs to be taken care of. Just some organisational benefits, of the integration. You're talking about, reducing administration time, better teamwork, eliminate duplication of information. I heard somebody mention spreadsheets and things like that. So you need to be considering how much time you're wasting maybe around duplication of information, ease of finding information, better planning, because you have you've got other teams there that can help as well in terms of planning your implementation, and also easier maintenance and implementation and maintenance of the 50001, because again, you have the expertise, maybe you have the expertise in house, and in common methods as well. Just a case study, just to mention, again, a customer of ours, but they're also a superior energy performance certified company as well in the United States, Harbeck, based in New York State. Relatively small company, a plastics manufacturing company that specialises in products for the medical device industry. And in 1996 they achieved ISO 9000. Okay, so this is really about their vision and their goal in terms of in 2000 they got 14,001. So they started looking at how they become greener and how they market themselves as a green company. Last year they achieved ISO 50001 and SEP certification, and they market themselves now as carbon neutral products. Okay, so that's a big part of their goals. But they also achieved significant energy savings, in terms of they got over 16% savings, and achieved platinum level certification in the SEP program. So the SEP program just has these levels as well on top of the 50001. And this year they're going for another ISO standard, and they're basically using that. But the bottom line point, I mentioned our software, but they're using a single platform for all of their standards. Just benefits there, again, it's employee engagement. People are now interested in talking about energy, and I think we've heard this earlier. Again, you have to have the staff and those interested in energy savings and coming up with ideas. They have a systematic approach because they've got tools in place, to analyse and to prioritise actions. They've got continued improvement, and then the last point here, really, the low implementation costs with high return on investment. They basically achieved a lot of the savings with little or no cost savings, and that's initially, and that's common across all of the implementations we've come across. Is a lot of savings on the initial phase of implementing the standard from low cost or no cost actions. In terms of just the cost, there is costs associated with compliance, and this again is the breakdown from the results of the Superior Energy Performance Program. And basically a large proportion of the costs are the staff time. Okay, so there is staff time required, and then you have things like the audit costs, the technical assistance from external consultants, and the monitoring and targeting and other equipment. And just this is I'll be honest, it's a slide we produce for our own sales, but really, is there time wasted? I mean, you look at it from the staff point of view, and what I'm trying to get across here is use ICT systems as much as possible, your existing systems, to manage some of these things. That there's a lot of maybe lack of knowledge, so use the existing teams, duplication of information, and just travel between sites, things like that. So you can use ICT to reduce these costs. Again, so ICT can help to do things like help people work maybe remotely. Trying to manage more people through ICT systems, so that you can have more projects on the go, more automation, eliminate spreadsheet administration. A big issue is, as people, maybe some people we've come across have implemented ISO 50001 manually, but now they're in a situation where they're struggling to manage spreadsheets and registers of opportunity on spreadsheets, especially across multiple sites and things like that. And just things like trying to bring all your information into one place. So again, it makes that bit bit more efficient for finding information. And also shared learning experience, being able to share between sites or between departments the experience that people have learned in terms of maybe best practice improvements and things like that. A smaller point is just around the audit process itself. You know, ICT can help to add efficiencies to the audit process, and maybe even things like remote auditing and that. Just to bring it, I suppose the expression here, bring it back home, in terms of I've talked about, you know, building the business case and using, I suppose, external sources of information and savings that have been validated from external sources. But just bring it back home, you know, starting out, you need to, you know, visualize your energy quickly and identify waste and opportunities early, you know. So I'm a great believer in getting started quickly and get going and start making improvements. And from the standards, you know, part of your energy planning is the energy review. You need to analyse your energy use and consumption, determine your significant energy uses, which we've heard about and good examples today. But just try and build, you know, even a visual very quickly. I know I'm going to say get going quickly, and even use estimates, use existing information you have, use energy audits, use existing metering information that you have, but get this picture built quickly, and then from there you can start to build a strong case again for management and for commitment to say, look, at these are the big areas where we need to focus on, and we need help. We've identified opportunities around this, and we need help to just to start implementing these potential savings. And just, you know, I've left this slide in here. I mean, there's lots of good monitoring and metering systems around, and the quality of them are absolutely fantastic nowadays. But I think just from experience from the past, like, you know, places where you have lots of meters, you know, that it's just to be careful, you know, that you identify first of all what you want to meter, and again, 50001 helps you to do this planning properly and to design your metering program correctly. And that's really the big message there. And just go slow. I think somebody again said stop even at the start. Stop and just think. And I've said don't fear guesstimation. And even spend wisely. You know, you can spend. You know, you can spend on big metering items. You know, as long as it makes sense. Just some conclusions then. Look, I've talked about, you know, energy management systems. Okay, it's different from an energy management information system, and it's different from business as usual. It's a systematic approach which will have long-term benefits. Savings are proven, like you've got 6 to 37%, and you've got the 10% savings from the SEP program. The payback is there, and that is proven payback. Just say start well. Persuade management. The information is there, and I've given you some resources there that you can use. Use your existing you know, environment, health and safety teams, and use their skill. Determine better monitoring targeting after end use estimates. Just plan that well. Pinpoint your energy end use. And build or buy an energy management system and ICT support, and then add to the M&T. Just for implementation and continuing success, okay, so going forward as well, you know, as I said, integrate with the existing systems, maximize your communication and accountability, it'll minimize administration costs, visualize your information to track and monitor. So again, lots of good systems out there to help you do that. Communication, make sure you've got good communication with all the key managers and general staff. And again, we've heard about good examples of that throughout the day. Track your way of working as well as the EMPIs and actions. Okay, and when we say track your way of working, this again is back to ISO 50001 doing audits to say, are we doing what we say we do, you know, and are we reviewing our progress, are we reviewing our management system itself? And just the bottom line, and I think again we've heard about before the break, just about you don't have to go for certification. And so the bottom line is this is not compliance, it's a common sense way of working, so certification is not an absolute. Okay, thanks, Conor. All right. Thank you.
Thanks very much.